Hi, I'm Ryan Hunter, and this is Kalispell Connections. It's a program where I interview local community leaders about issues important to the community. And with me today is Maggie Doherty, the co-owner of Kalispell Brewing Company. Hi, Maggie.
Hello.
Thanks for joining us. Wanted to ask you, how is Kalispell Brewing Company handling the pandemic? Obviously, you're shut down like everybody else. Are you doing deliveries? Are you doing pickups? Are you able to operate at all, or are you completely shut
Uh, no, we are able to operate. We are an essential business. However, we have opted to only focus on production of canning. So we do have our own canning line. So we do have our full brew house working and operating, and those we have 4 beers that we can, 4 different styles, and then that goes through our 2 different distributors, and then is then delivered to grocery stores and whatnot. It is allowable to do growler fills and pickups. However, we felt that for the safety of our employees, the health and safety of our community, it was better to just focus on our canning operation. So that's what we're doing right now.
down? Okay. And how about for your employees then? Are you able to retain all of your employees, or have you had to let some of them furloughed, or what's the situation for them?
Yeah, so we have about 15 employees. More about 8 are full time. Cole and I offered 4 weeks full time pay for everybody, regardless of their situation. For the full time staff, our part time staff, we weren't able to offer them a compensation package, and they were okay with that. Most of those folks that are part-time have other full-time jobs. Many of them are teachers, so their days are not really busy. However, we did offer everyone, production, tasting room staff, 4 weeks pay at their normal rate. We just were notified yesterday that we secured the payroll protection loan, thank goodness. So we will be able to maintain payroll. So we have actually we've restricted physical access to the building for just essential production staff and our general manager. The other full-time employees, such as our marketing director, our tasting room staff, are working remotely. So for us, it is all about the safety of our employees and making sure that we are following all the local ordinances, federal guidelines to do our part with this pandemic.
Mhm. Have you been able to utilize any other assistance programs other than the Paycheck Protection Program? Is that the main one, or is there others that you've been able to utilize?
We've just utilized that one so far. Our general manager has been looking into different programs. So probably like most small business owners, we are just taking it day by day, kind of scrambling, seeing what opportunities are out there, focusing on adapting our operations to a really safe place. Yeah, so we're still exploring. We're open to anything because it's daunting right now.
Right. What does the short term and the long term picture look like for you guys? How long can you handle the current situation? Is there a point where um, if you don't open, that there's going to be real trouble for you? Do you have that kind of mapped out, or do you know where you stand in terms of the timeline and how long this might go?
Um, Sort of, yeah, it's a continuous discussion. Securing this payroll protection loan is huge and the 4 weeks that we guaranteed were up this week too, and we just found out about the loan. So we're feeling a little easier. We care deeply about our employees and we want to make sure that they're taken care of. So now I think we have about I think it's 8.5 or 9 weeks. I can't remember. Sorry. With 2 kids at home, I haven't slept much. So we're feeling okay short term. We do the bulk of our revenue does come from a fully operational tap room like every other brewery in the state. So while we feel very grateful that we are able to can and send those beers out the door through our distributors, we are in the Flathead Lincoln County market. We're also in the Helena, Great Falls, that area too. So we're okay. It's not great. Obviously, like everyone, we'd like to get back to business. So short term, we're okay. Long term, it's a really good question. And we are very cognizant that long term, the way our brewery operated, the tap room especially, will probably not look like how it did. The leadership team, we are all realizing that for everybody, life as we knew it is going to be very different. So that might affect our employees. We've always been focused on customer service. We provide table service. We might not be able to do that. And again, it'll probably come from recommendations from county health departments. I think the whole hospitality service industry is going to probably have to change and adapt. We don't know yet, like, is that going to be more limited seating, increased sanitation? Unfortunately, in a business like ours with the tap room, you are handling glassware and talking with people and handling money. So whatever we do, we want to make sure we're following best practices. So again, it's been hard to kind of lay out plans because we don't really know what the future is going to look like.
Sure, sure. Have you been having conversations with other business owners about their experiences, kind of where they're at? Do you have a feel for where some of our downtown businesses are at, and how long they can hold out?
I haven't so far directly. I think right now for myself with a 4-month-old and a 4-year-old, we're just trying to keep things normal as we can. I'm on the Business Improvement District Board. I missed the last Zoom meeting because kids, and but there's been some emails, and I think folks in Kalispell are trying to be optimistic, but it is very worrisome. Especially considering that our valley is highly dependent on tourism, and what is travel going to look like this summer, and when are we going to be able to open? I don't think it's going to be until the end of May, if possible. But I think what people are trying, my sense, even though I haven't had too many open discussions, they've been more kind of checking in, and it's a lot of just checking the pulse, like, are you doing okay? I think folks are just kind of waiting and really trying to keep the community spirit alive and putting health and safety for first and foremost. That's what I'm seeing and kind of hearing from limited stuff yet right now.
I guess last question for you. I know you have a column in the paper, talk a lot about community values, and given the nature of the crisis, what advice do you have to other business owners or just others in the community about coping and handling with this situation and rebuilding our community afterwards? Well, have you been thinking about that and what you would say to folks who are struggling right now?
Yeah, thank you. Gosh, I just feel I've always felt so lucky to land in Kalispell. Many years ago when I was a 22-year-old college grad with no idea what to do with her life. And I still feel that way. I think we are so lucky to live in the Flathead Valley. I have been so impressed, one, with our regional healthcare system. Our neighborhood is full of doctors and nurses and medical professionals. We've been, if you see each other in the alley, safe distance. That's my biggest thing is just follow the rules. Like, what is being asked of us as a community and as Americans is a very small sacrifice, I think, in the larger scheme of things. I have a 90-year-old grandmother, and we talk a lot about sacrifice during world wars. And what I keep to is I'm not being asked, one, to go to a physical war. I'm also not being asked to be a researcher because I don't have that skill set. So what I'm coping with is that I can do my part by staying home, limiting my interactions. I miss people. I'm a people person, but I know that staying home, washing my hands, following the rules is the biggest thing. And then I do see that happening when I do see my neighbors, especially the doctors, the ER nurses, listening to how they're doing their schedules, a week on with 2 weeks off to quarantine. I recently had to take my daughter in for immunizations, which is Like everybody right now does not want to go to a doctor's office. The way they're screening, how they're limiting only for immunization checks at our local doctor's office, how they're kind of creating team A's and team B's so not all the physicians get sick if that were to happen. Wow, I'm so blown away because I don't think that is happening in every community. So that gives me a lot of hope. And I know that those professionals are relying on the rest of us to follow along. And then I've just been seeing local leaders who might not see themselves as leaders emerge, whether that is, you know, a local business owner coming up with creative ways or trying to be in touch with their employees. I think that's what we're really trying to do is, especially for our remote employees, keeping in contact with them, giving them some creative outlets, you know, giving them some cool online resources. There's a lot of stuff that's for free right now that people are making available, leadership webinars, for our industry specifically, peer education, a lot of safety from OSHA. So we're trying to just tap into that and figure out that in this downtime, interim time period, to keep people engaged, to give them the time to have some of these other projects. Yeah, it's hard. Like until yesterday when I talked to the bank, I didn't know it was going to happen. But I think staying focused on the day-to-day things that we can do, those projects. Main Street is unfortunately going to be pummeled. But I am also seeing my friends and neighbors who have bought gift cards, who are doing their part when they make those choices to shop, you know, when it's safe. So the world will look very different when we come out of this, but I think it'll make us more connected. I'm very fortunate to live in downtown. I am seeing people writing beautiful messages of hope in sidewalk chalk. I am seeing folks able to help maybe deliver a meal to parents that are maybe struggling or single parents right now. And so the crazy thing with this is I am honestly feeling in some ways more connected to people than ever. And I think part of it's you can really focus on what you need to right now. As a parent, I am really stressed because I don't get a downtime, but I'm also having kids helps. Like I'm busy all day, and I think you have kids too, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So play helps. I encourage people to just play in the yard if they need to, play tag. We've been doing a lot of nature art, and that vitamin D right now that we're getting helps. So I don't know if this is super concrete, but I think, you know, working together and following these protocols, and not everybody's doing it. I unfortunately see people on my walks and rides that aren't taking it seriously, which really bums me out because, you know, what is being asked of us to just stay home. We have the internet, people. Like you don't really need to go out. You know, is we can do this. Like we really, really can do this. And I'm confident that when we come out of this, and yeah, there probably will be very big changes, especially to, you know, more service style. I think folks are going to rally behind Main Street. And I applaud the leadership in Montana from Governor Bullock's early decisions to do this. We're seeing that is paying off. I applaud Hillary Hansen from the Flathead County Health Department for her steps and the businesses that are following this. You know, it's helping. I'm talking again to my neighbors that are, you know, the ER docs. I have a respiratory at the other end of our alley is a respiratory therapist. He's like, this is my pandemic, man. Like this is what I do. And he's like, the fact that people are staying home, he's like, we're not overwhelmed. And if you know, that's my big message is just stay home.
Yeah, well said. And I think, you know, a crisis is really when you see, I think, what a community is made of. And I think so many people in our community have stepped up and they're doing the right thing, you know, by staying home. And it's impressive to see. And, you know, this pandemic, I think, is going to be a long-term, more of a marathon rather than a sprint, unfortunately. We're probably going to have to live with this for a while. Maybe not the full lockdown, but perhaps lockdowns off and on, and certainly social distancing, and so having a strong community that looks after each other, and hopefully when it does lift, we support our local businesses. That'll be important. So, well, thank you, Maggie.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I
Yeah,
agree. It is going to be a marathon. And I do, also want to give a quick shout out to those businesses that have changed operations, that are making personal protection equipment. And even again, these leaders you don't even see, all the sewers. Oh my gosh. My mom is part of this sewing network that I think they've already donated over 5,000 masks to
wow.
Kalispell Regional.
Yeah,
You're right. We're seeing that happen. Businesses that are delivering food for free, but also a lot of the services that have maybe gone neglected. I know we're getting the emergency homeless shelter
right.
uh, going, and so there are. For me, I'm blessed. I make beer. We can. Nobody wants to really live without beer. It's rough. But I think this crisis has also made us realize that there are a lot of vulnerable populations out there, and I think we can better support them. And I'm already seeing Kalispell do that. And so again, that's where my confidence is with this town. Like, we're rallying for the people that really need it, and we'll be okay.
Yeah, yeah. Well said. Well, thank you so much, and we'll see when this is all over.
Yeah, it was my pleasure. Thank you, and stay safe and be well.
You too.